Blackburn Law Firm, lifeplanlaw.com, and I invited you all here. And Colleen is another lawyer with our firm, so she's helping us out here today. Now, the other thing I know something about is qualifying for Medicaid long-term care benefits. This is where you're probably going to be confused in 5 minutes. Why it is so complicated, I can't tell you, but there are 2 tests for Medicaid. One is an income test, the other is an asset test. So for income, you have to have $2,523 or less in income. However, if you have more than that, don't worry about it. Because there's a technique that we can use called a qualified income trust, where we can take your $3,500 a month, put it into a qualified income trust, and bingo, you qualify. So that's the income test, but don't worry about it. Right. What you do have to know is that basically all of your income, except $130 a month, is going to go to the nursing home. $130 a month is called the personal needs allowance. Once again, I didn't make the rules. Don't ask me how somebody takes care of their shampoo needs for $130 a month, but you know, they probably don't buy shampoo at the stylists. If you have a spouse, you can divert somewhere between $200 and $3,400 to your spouse of your income in the nursing home, and that is a really complicated calculation, but know that you don't impoverish your spouse. You can divert some money. It won't be enough, but you can divert some. Now, what's really important here is to know that income from your retirement accounts is income, not asset. So if you have a retirement account, the very first thing we'll do is start taking distributions from it, because then the distributions will be income, but you preserve the principal of it. So you do not have to liquidate your retirement account. You do not have to sell your home. That's the asset test. Here's the scary piece. You have to have assets under $2,000. Yikes. Yeah. But believe it or not, we can get you there. First, your home and your automobile are exempt. So you will not lose your home in Florida. Other states will take your home, but not Florida. So that's exempt. That $2,000 does include your cash, your investment accounts. It includes the cash value of your life insurance. Now, if you have whole life where it is accumulating cash value, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to liquidate that to qualify for Medicaid. We might be able to change the owner to your spouse, but that's about the only way we can preserve your life insurance. Your annuities. Yes, unless it's an IRA annuity, that counts against you. So the likelihood is you're going to have to liquidate your annuity. Now this one's in red. Imagine why. Please pay attention. There is a 5-year look back for gifts. You cannot get down to $2,000 by giving money away. It will disqualify you from Medicaid. Now this can include putting joint owners on your bank account, putting your kids on your bank account. Okay, don't recommend that. I don't recommend that for lots of reasons, but that's a big one. It includes giving your kids a debit card. I don't know why, for some reason, I'm seeing, moms taking care of sons who drain their bank account every month. That's going to be a problem with Medicaid. And so at some point you just have to steel yourself and say, no, I just can't do it. It's gonna put me in too much of jeopardy. Right? So how do we get your assets under $2,000? Well, you can spend it. You can spend it on items for fair market value. But of course, whatever you buy with it is going to count as an asset. You can pay off the mortgage on your home because your home is exempt. But other than that, you're going to have to, or an automobile, you're going to have to account for the asset that you purchased with it. I call techniques to get you under $2,000 to qualify for Medicaid restructuring your assets. I don't know that other people call it that, but I do. And this is according to Medicaid rules. Okay, so flat out, your spouse can have $137,400 in assets and you qualify for Medicaid. So if you've got $135,000 between you, we're going to move it to your spouse and you're going to qualify. That's a very simple technique. Well, what if you have more than $137,400? Well, in Florida, there is an unlimited spousal exemption for transfers between spouses. Unless the legislature takes it away, we can move any amount of money from one spouse to the other, and the ill spouse will qualify for Medicaid. Now, what that requires is for the community spouse to refuse to contribute to the ill spouse. We call that spousal refusal. Medicaid accepts it. It's unpleasant. You don't want to think about it. Think about it as a business transaction. So we can move any amount of money from, or assets, vacation home, boats, whatever, to the community spouse, and you will qualify. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do this is what we call a lifetime personal services contract. Right, if you don't have a spouse, now we're limited in what we can do. So one thing that we can do is we can pay someone. It doesn't have to be a child. It could be anybody, but I would trust them if I were you. We pay them a lump sum up front to provide a list of services to you for the rest of your life. Things like managing your finances, visiting at the nursing home, going to the care plan meetings and making sure you're receiving appropriate care, communicating with your doctors. Let me tell you, that takes time. I did it for my dad, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of effort. So Medicaid understands somebody has to do that. So they will allow you to pay them a lump sum up front to do that for the rest of your life. The amount is based upon your life expectancy, according to the life tables. However, it's taxable to the recipient. There's a catch to everything. If you want to know, gosh, is there any way to avoid that? Maybe. Talk to me privately. You can use rental property. So let's say you've got $5 million. Now, if you have $5 million, you probably want to pay for 24-hour a day, 7-day a week in-home care. But if you don't, we could buy rental properties. Now, the net rental income becomes income. That goes to the nursing home. However, we preserve the value of the properties, including the appreciating value of the properties. I don't use that very much because, quite frankly, if we're putting that much money into rental properties, the income is going to end up over $10,000 a month anyway. You know, so it's generally not helpful to do it, but we can. So here's an interesting question. Who wants to live in a nursing home and be on Medicaid? Yeah, nobody, right? So that is why I asked Tom to talk to you about financial planning, and especially financial planning for those more desirable long-term care alternatives like living in an independent living community or having assisted living or even memory care.